Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Tonight we have an event. We introduce Professor Sohan here. He's a professor of astrobiology, his field and PhD on this field. And tonight he will give us a lecture about the origin of life from biological point of view. What is life? Yes. And the origin of life is related to the so-called what is life. Dr. Sohan, he's PhD in astrobiology, and he is the editor of several journals, peer-reviewed journals, life journals, and managing director of several journals in biology and related sciences. So please welcome here. Yeah. And this is your time, Sohan. Welcome.
Oh, time to fly.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Oops.
Oh, take care.
All right. Okay. Good evening. Come on, let's have some energy. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, thank you very much. Here's the thing, right? I'd like to begin by saying I'm really honored to be here. And as I was telling you earlier on, I'm pleasantly surprised. I didn't know what to expect in Jordan because, as you would know, that in the West, Jordan, along with every other country in this region, are lumped into one. So if there's a slight problem, it's, as you would imagine, that it would be magnified. So it's no surprise that I am surprised to be here. And what's more than that is people that I have met so far. They're so amazing. They greet you with a smile. And I detect no negativity. And that is wonderful. That has to be wonderful. The country is awfully nice. I have been to nearly 60 countries abroad. I mean, that's because I travel 6 months in a year. I visit different laboratories. I visit different scientists. I give talks abroad all the time. I lived there. So many years ago, back in 1972, I had a lecturer, American lecturer, and I used to be a bit misfit of a child, And he said to me, he said, Sohan, why is it that you're always messing around? You're a smart guy. I know you're intelligent. Use it for God's sake. But what had happened was that he, because this is getting to a punchline, what had happened was he really, he detected that my background, my parentage background is Indian, of Indian origin, although I'm British, but my parents are Indian. And he said, it may be that you're nervous, right? But why don't you treat every country in the world to be your own? Right? So, ladies and gentlemen, here I am in Jordan, it's my country too.
Welcome.
The other thing that I'm really honored about this, actually, you won't believe how much honored I am. The level of attention given to me is beyond port of call. That in itself fills me up with awesome, with wonder, with potentials, which I will say something about that. And this is all to do with people like Amar here, there's this gentleman here. Yeah.
You forget my name.
Adli. Sorry. And there's this Hannah Sabat, Dr. Hannah Sabat. There's Omari.
Qais Omari.
Yeah. All of these people, actually, you won't believe how much they showered me with their attention. Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome, sir.
And finally, yesterday I had an exploratory mission with Amar, and were you there? I had an exploratory mission to and I'll give you the conclusion. I'll give you the conclusion. I had a sort of exploratory mission. The mission was that because I used to run an international company, I had a lot of people working for me, and I am excellent communicator. And I also have a sense of about people that I can explore people the way I want to without them knowing. So yesterday I sensed something else. I thought, what is it? You know, what is there something here? So I asked Dr. Alia, I said, Alia, let's get to the bottom of this. What is it? What are your goals? What is it that you want? Right? How can I be of help? So we listed 4 points altogether. Now, one of the things that came apparent, I don't want to go into all of it, the punchline here is that there is a shortage of funding in this country for the scientists to explore more and become an international player. But I myself is an international player because I have over 30 collaborations, right? I am like a film star walking around, you know? But I know you may wonder that I'm blowing my own trumpet, but I gave a solution yesterday to the group, and we're more likely to work on those solutions. I think the reason I tell you this, not to divulge our secret, what we discussed just today, because you're men of learned capacity, and therefore you too can help us in this endeavor to bear some pressure, policy change at high level, so that more money could be made available to the scientists so they can become international. I will use everything in my power to help in this endeavor, because I also deal with 4 other countries. Sorry. Sorry for going overboard.
No
I've already
problem.
used up my 15 minutes.
I'm waiting for what is life.
Oh, all right. No, that was the punchline. The punchline is, I'd like to help, and I will. So that's it. So listen, after 4, it's been a long time, long time, hell of a long time. It's so long that it's 4 billion years gone by, and after that evolution, here we are under one roof, right? Hello, nice to meet you. 4 billion years of evolution. you know, 4 billion. No, sorry.
Okay.
It'll work, right?
Yeah, after 4 million years, billion years.
Billion
I'll
years.
do something, as Carl Sagan said,
Yeah.
if you want to invent an apple, you have to invent the whole cosmos.
Okay. You know what is life, right? Let's get to the nitty gritty. My 15 minutes starts now. Sorry about that.
Okay, welcome. No problem.
We have a problem with life. The problem is this: how do we know we're alive? I know Descartes, the French philosopher and mathematician, said, "I think, therefore I am." Right? But to a modern thinking, that's not enough. There is a reason, right? So let's examine some of the things on the next slide, right? No, there's a bunny rabbit here. How did that get there? Never mind. So,
Yes.
I just put that. Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are these things here, right? We've got. I'm going to prove to you that these things are living, and you're going to tell me, Sohan, they're not living.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm going to prove to you, no, you're not sure. I'm going to introduce a sense of uncertainty, but we'll see how far we go. So we have hydrogen and oxygen system. We have bombs. I don't mean bombs in this grenade, those type of things. I mean, if we took a bit of gunpowder and we made these, what we call molehill, kind of little mounds, and I'll come back to that in a minute, right? And then there's a question of fire. When you, I don't know about in Jordan, but in England, when you give a talk or do a presentation on a radio, even on television, what they do, they give you a list of things. They always say, well, there's hydrogen, there's bombs, and there's fire. But I think I'll begin with fire. Last one first. That's why it's written in that format, right? So fire, this is called mnemonic. What does it stand for? movement, excretion, reproduction, respiration, irritability, I'll come back to that, nutrition and growth, right? I will put it to you, ladies and gentlemen, that fire does all of these things, right? So does fire move? Of course it does, right? You've seen fire spread, haven't you? In a forest, you see it in television regularly, okay? What about excretion? You know, we go to the toilet, we breathe out air, carbon dioxide. So fire produces ash, which is the same as going to the toilet, and it produces gases, which is the same as carbon dioxide. But if you were to take candle, it'll do a little bit more than that. It produces other kind of gases as well, right? So let's look at reproduction, right? If suppose I take this here and this here, and if I light this up and just leave it there, two things are going to happen. This will burn sooner or later. This will start to burn as well. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right.
Yeah, right. It has reproduced, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's
I'm sure majority of them, if not all of you, right, have got children, right? Reproduce, right? Reproduce. So what's happening here? Although they're far apart, you can see that they're far apart. They're not touching one another. So then what's being transmitted from this cup that is lit, right? This caught fire. We call it by special name. We call it electromagnetic radiation. More commonly heat. So heat is being transmitted. Is that not information? Does that make sense? It's information, isn't it? Because you pass your genetic on to your children. Here you are, this guy passes in the form of fire. It made fire. So there you have reproduction, respiration. Try lighting this cup and put a jar bell on it. Bell jar on it. Yeah, that's right, yeah. Sooner or later it will run out of oxygen and it will die. Proving that it breathes, fire breathes. So there's respiration.
So just one minute to translate to Arabic.
Oh.
هي الفكرة الرئيسية في هذه العبارة إنه في نظام الهيدروجين والأكسجين، نظام النار، بقول لك كل هاي في صفات معينة للحياة، كل هاي تشترك في الصفات اللي عم بذكرها صفة، فهو يعني عنده إشكالية في تعريف معنى الحياة، لأنه هذا التعريف ينطبق على قضايا قد لا نعتبرها إحنا حية، لكن هو حسب التعريفات الموجودة بيعتبرها قضايا حية.
مثل النار.
مثل هو بيحكي عن النار الآن.
النار بيحكي.
نعم.
And irritability, right? Sometimes called sensitivity. Now, let's look at the human. Well, if I took this gentleman, this professor here, and pinched him hard, he'd go, "Oh, this guy's gone mad. He pinched me. It hurts, right?" But if I do that to a tree, does that happen? Does that tree go, "Excuse me, what's your problem?" This tree doesn't do that. So it looks to me, right, as if that sensitivity and isn't all that universal, because trees don't feel it, yet animals do, right? Irritability or sensitivity in the sense of fire is uncertainty as yet. I haven't discovered its equivalent. But let's not be disheartened about that. Nutrition, if I were to came along and put this plastic remote control here on top of it, this will start to burn as well, because this would be fuel. There will be more fuel adding to the fire. Fire will last longer. Just as if you stopped eating, you'll die, but if you start eating, you continue to live. You're eating. And of course, all of us put on weight if we overdo it. Growth in that sense. But in the other sense, we were once baby, and we grew up to be 1.8 meter. But then again, this fire will start slowly, and it will grow to be big. So you have a growth, right? Now comes the real challenge. And here's a rabbit. This bit you have to translate. Here's a rabbit. Now, if we take this rabbit everybody agree that's living, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take this rabbit and put it on an island. It doesn't matter whether it's male or female. That's irrelevant, right? What is relevant is that we put this rabbit on an island. The question that we as astrobiologists, all the practitioners in the origin of life, right, would ask, is that rabbit dead or living? Because it can't reproduce on its own.
الفكرة الرئيسية يقول لو جبنا أرنب ووضع هذا الأرنب في جزيرة منفرد، هل يستطيع هذا الأرنب إنه يكرر أو يتوالد لوحده؟ أرنب واحد، هي الفكرة.
Yeah. So the rabbit cannot reproduce. So the question arises, is that living or dead? I would put it to you, ladies and gentlemen, it's dead. But if you don't believe me...
Your argument.
Pardon me?
Your argument.
My argument, right? I didn't finish these, right, because of the time. I realized actually that's why I didn't go into that. But logic reasoning would actually follow the same for us for fire. And I would have proved that hydrogen and liquid, hydrogen and oxygen actually behaves like a living system, okay? But if you need it, you can ask me afterwards and I'll show you how. But the thing about it is that if you take mule, for example, mule, that is a female male donkey and female horse, right? Mule does not reproduce, right? Mule does not reproduce. By definition, by this definition, it's not living, right? Okay, how about this? If I take, not this camera, but my camera, right? And I kind of went out in the desert, right? And I put my camera to look at the sand. Sand will have little ripples, they call dunes, okay? Like so. And if I take a photograph, say 1 minute photograph per minute, a photograph, over 24-hour, 48-hour cycle, and then fast forward this photograph, what will actually happen is this sand dune, these little ripples, you will see them move across. To a naked eye, you can't see it because it happens very, very slowly, right? But because I showed it to you in that format, right, that actually, if you look at this, people taking it, internet is full of it. So basically, you could say that there's something underneath it or something about sand that moves these dunes along. What actually happens is that sand of grain travels and drops onto the other side. It kind of eventually builds up and slowly moves it forward because it happens very slowly over a long period of time, weeks and days, days and weeks. And then you realize actually it has moved. So really, we have a dilemma here as a biologist, as a scientist. There are things that are clearly dead, like fire, for example, right? And things that are living, right? That appears to show that it's dead. Women, or any animal for that matter, female animal, that matter, after a certain age, they can't reproduce. It becomes questionable. We ask these questions. They're serious questions in themselves, right? So there's something about life which we don't understand. Other than just to describe properties, these are just properties. That's all they are. But you can't, if you take, let's say, any other science, like in physics, you try to describe what gravity is. You clearly know what gravity does, and you can actually put a constant to this, right? So it looks to me that it's not just me, all of us seem to think that actually life is difficult to follow, right? Difficult to describe. It's not just this, because you'll see in the next slide. Oh, well, the upshot of it is life is clearly difficult to define, right? Oops. Here's the thing. all of these things are called RNA, DNA, crystals, right? Computer virus and epigenetics. They all are actually show signs that they're alive. And I'll show it you how. So the genetics, like RNA, DNA, exists in soup. That's where what we call spawning ground is. That's where it began. A bit like frog with its tadpoles. It's a spawning ground for tadpoles. Okay? Sorry, I missed that. Prions, right? They're the type of proteins. Okay? They kind of are biological, right? The proteins can take copy of one another, but there's a peculiarity about prions because do they mutate? To date, I have not known any, and I have actually visited many conferences where people talk about prions. Okay, so they do not mutate, but what they do is to behave as if they can replicate themselves into more of their copies. And one of the disease that is called dementia caused, right? And then you take crystal does the same thing, computer does the same thing, and the thing about it, this is last slide, coming to end, right? Computer does the same thing, right? But there's something about, sorry, I missed out the meme here.
This one.
Yeah, very important.
Richard
Meme is
Dawkins.
very, very important.
Dawkins.
Huh?
Richard Dawkins.
Yeah.
Richard Dawkins.
Yeah,
Richard Dawkins, yeah. Richard Dawkins' idea,
Introduced this term.
right?
Social.
Yeah. It was like in 1977 he wrote this book. By the way, psychologists and psychiatrists have been writing about memes for 200 years before that. They knew there was something in society, the way they behaved. There were various names they called them, right? But people couldn't pinpoint it what that is clearly. But one of the things is that Richard Dawkins did was to give it a name, right? Give it a name, right?
ميموز
right?
معلش ميموز هو تيرم هو عرفه ريتشارد دوكنز من حوالي السبعينات. هي وحدة معلومات الثقافية وانتقال المعلومات من جهة إلى أخرى، من الأب إلى الابن، من وسط إلى وسط آخر، من خلال الثقافة، من خلال اللغة، من خلال الأفكار،
على غرار الجينات.
على غير يعني هي
They are, thank you very much. Somebody whispered it out there. They call social genes, right? What they are, they're ideas. They're jumping. Now what's happening is you being infected by my memes. Is that I'm actually infecting your brain, ideas jumping out of my head into your head. And the biggest and the best known gene is religion. Religion is passed on through generations. The other ones is usually fashion. Fashion is a type of gene, right? People, you know, if you like my purple suit, one of you, some might go and buy it, say, he looked good, I want to look like him too, right? That's how pop music spread. And art, like Renaissance and like Cubism, all of these, one artist starts it, everybody copies it. But what's so special about this meme is this, that it created another replicator. That particular replicator is actually computer virus. A meme exists in the brain, by the way. So idea is the information transmitted is the idea. Transmission unit is language. So in here, this moment in time is English, but when he speaks, it's Jordanian. That's a transmission vehicle, just like DNA is, right? And what is transmitted? Ideas, right? And of course, ideas mutate. You know that religion mutates, and that's why you get some people blowing themselves up because somebody feeds somebody false information and people go and do bad things. But what he also does, good things as well. So the drugs are invented and the surgeries are invented because of memes, because you're passing on. By the way, humans are not the only species. Birds and birds and monkeys and primates, all of these pass on information to the young ones. How to use a stick to get ant out of a nest. You know, birds use how to build a nest, how to decorate a nest. It's all been passed on. So what I'm actually trying to say, that meme also is, if Alan Turing or Babbage was the masters of computer, from there on, there's been evolution of computer, information being passed on one to another. New young person comes along, makes the computer faster. But of course, just like genetics, chemical genetics, DNA and RNA, mutates, right? Computer viruses also do mutate, not on their own, but somebody says, listen guys, what we're going to do, we're going to rob a bank, right? And we'll invent this virus, and we'll call it Trojan or along the line, or bug, or whatever you want to call it. They give them names, don't they? These are viruses, and of course, Stephen Hawking believed that could be a life form too. But I showed it to you. You already have electromagnetic radiation behaving a bit like a transmitter of information. And I don't want to talk about genetic because the epigenetic, because of the time, but the very fact that it behaves the same. Actually, I should say something about it because it's got a wow factor in it. Oh, wow, I didn't know this, right? What actually happens in epi means on the surface, okay? What happens? A small molecule like methyl molecule, CH3, what it does, that unknown to any of you, or to all of us, right? We eat this methyl. It could be through food, it could be smell, it could be anything. It could be absorbed through skin, right? And it attaches itself to either histone proteins around which DNA is wrapped, or to the DNA itself, thereby preventing the expression of gene. So, this expression of gene could be short-lived. It might only happen to your lifetime alone, right? Or it could be passed on to several generations before it disappears. People, you know, delinquent kids, you know, young children, young men, young adults, right?
Sohan.
2 minutes. That's it. I only got one line after this. Right? Delinquent, right? Right? You know, they, at a certain age, they become unruly, you know, because of the hormones and stuff like that. It's because some people believe, because of epigenetic, one more, right? To give you, because you got wow in it. I didn't know this, wow. You know how baby twins are born, right? When they're young, you can't tell the difference between the two, right? As they grow old, or say, well, this is Jane, this is Mary. You can tell the difference, right? It's because of epigenetics. It passes on as well, in some time, not all of the time. And the conclusion is, and you know that's, well, your sense tells you that's a living, that's a dead. Now, in this respect, this is James Bond, by the way. Right? If you were in spacecraft on top of, flying above, hovering above him, right, you wouldn't know whether the car is driving him or he's driving the car. It becomes a debatable issue. If I had showed you about the small molehills, the gunpowder one, you would have doubted it, whether that's alive or not, right? And of course, you know, technically you know that it's dead, but it behaves alive. That's a fire, right? So, in a way, if you ask me to summarize, what's the only common denominator that defines all of this is this. Replicators. They all are replicators. And the universe is full of replicators. If universe is full of replicators, there's a high probability that there is life out there too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think maybe you are welcome to join next time. We'll have full lecture here at the Philosophical Society.
Yeah, thank you.
نشكر الجميع على الاستماع.
الميكروفون دكتور.
لا صوت عالي سبب خلنا نقول شوية.
نص ساعة دكتور.
نص ساعة ماشي.
لا أكثر شوي. خفف من الأسئلة اليوم.
خلاص خفوا من الأسئلة، هذه حساب المحاضرة. حقيقة اليوم أول شيء بنشكر دكتور سوهان على المحاضرة. صحيح الاتفاقية 10 دقائق ولكن هو أخذ ساعة إلا ربع، لكن كان على حساب الفيزياء. هو المشكلة الفرق الرئيس بين الفيزياء والبيولوجيا إنهم بيشتغلوا في 5 مليار سنة وحنشتغل من بداية تاريخ الكون من 14 مليار سنة. فحقبة البيولوجيا بالنسبة لنا سمول سكيل ما نطلع عليها، لأنه حقبة صغيرة جدا ومهملة. فما بالك في حقبة الإنسان على هذا الكوكب بالنسبة لنا it's a negligible term، يعني شيء مهمل. حقيقة اليوم حنتكلم عن الكون الفوضوي من نطاق بلانك إلى نطاق هابل. chaotic universe from blank scale to Hubble scale. chaotic universe صحيح حقيقة الاسم chaos theory هي أحد النظريات في الرياضيات، وهي نظرية معروفة وإلها تعريفات وترجمات عديدة. في ناس بترجموها الفوضى، في ناس الشواش. وبالتالي أنا نختار الفوضى لأن الكون الفوضوي أقرب للفهم للجميع. لو كنا الكون الشواشي أعتقد منشوش إلى آخرين، كون الكلمة مستعملة عندنا. هي نظرية رياضية بنحاول نطلع على هذا الكون اللي احنا بنعيش فيه. هل هو كون منظم أم هو كون، طبعا احكي كلمة كايوس هو نفسه الفوضى، يعني احكي كلمة كون فوضوي أقصد فيها كون هو كايوس. فهل هذا الكون اللي احنا بنعيش فيه هو كون فوضوي أم لا؟ هل فوضوية هذا الكون في فترات معينة أم في بدايات تكوين هذا الكون حتى الفترة الحالية؟ لما نحكي بلانك سكيل نحكي عن الفترات في بدايات تشكل هذا الكون من الأزمنة اللي تصل إلى زمن بلانك. هابل سكيل نحكي عن لارج سكيل أو النطاقات الكبيرة. حقيقة راح أبدأ بعض المقتطفات. نحن محظوظون جدا لأننا نعيش في كوكب صالح الحياة، بس ما في تفسير لحد الآن غير هيك. النظريات وعلم الاحتمالات ما بيعطينا أي تفسير إلا إحنا بايلك. والصورة هاي معبرة، بتروح على نايت كلاب روليت ترمي معك $1000 تطلع $10,000 $100,000 بتروح. يو ار لاكي أو تطلع خسران. إحنا ربحنا وإحنا موجودين على هذا الكوكب. هذا هو التفسير. It's a matter of luck. هذا طبعا هي عبارة عن صدفة بس. الكون ليس مضبوط جيدا لنا. هاي نقطة حقيقة إحنا نقع، وكل الناس بيأكدوا أنه هذا الكون كله برمته هو وجد لأجل الإنسان. حقيقة مبالغة كثير جدا في هذا المنطق. يعني لو نظرت لهذا الكون الضخم جدا ونظرت لحجم الإنسان على هذا الكوكب، إحنا كوكب الأرض هو عبارة عن كوكب من المجموعة الشمسية. نجم الشمس هو نجم من ملايين النجوم الموجودة في مجرة درب التبانة، وهناك ملايين المجرات، وهناك كلاسترز اوف جالاكسيز وعناقيد المجرات وما إلى ذلك. فحقيقة لو واحد فكر في هذا الوجود مستحيل إنه هذا الكون كله انعمل إن إحنا مين بس.
بعدين عمر الإنسان قديش؟
عمر الإنسان هو حكينا إنه راح أبدأ من النهاية. حقيقة هاي مقال بحث علمي نشر في مجلة النيتشر قبل حوالي شهرين أو أقل حول الكايوتيك موديل. الكايوتيك يونيفيرس موديل هو نموذج فوضوية الكون، وهو بحث محكم. وحقيقة يعني الباحث يعني بذل جهد كبير جدا في هذا البحث، وأثبت إنه هذا الكون هو عبارة عن فوضوي.